Welcome back to Hobby Time with Chris. I'm just checking to see if I'm recording. Today we're making weedless hooks with mostly stuff you can get at Dollar Tree, but you're going to need some 50-pound mono, some hooks, whatever hook you want. This is exactly what I'm using. Size 3/0, quantity 8. Doesn't say anything else. So just size 3/0 worm hook. Found them at the fishing spot. You got the super glue from Dollar Tree, the sewing kit I use to sew on buttons from Dollar Tree. It comes with red, purple, black, white, gray, and green. Right now we're gonna make a black one because this one's red and this is purple or blue. You tell me. Looks like purple. Anyway, let's make one. So you're gonna need, for this hook, what I found works best is around 16 centimeters of 50-pound test. See, about 1 millimeter under 16, but you could have it a little longer, a little shorter. For standard, that would be 6 inches and a quarter. So that's what we got. So how I do this is I take the mono. It has a natural bend to it, so just keep the natural bend. Put your two pieces together as close as you can to even. It's just my OCD. This step is really up to you. See how it has that natural bend? Try and keep that and just pinch it. So give it a little pinch like that. Take your pliers. In my case, a birthday present from my girlfriend, Leatherman Surge, and pinch your 50-pound braid. Don't give it a hard pinch, just pinch it enough for it to stay. Just like that. Now we got our starting point. That's what it looks like. See how it's round like that? That's why I like to keep the natural bend of the braid. So now you put it through your hook, the eye of your hook. My OCD tells me to keep the two on separate sides, but again, I don't think that matters one bit. Hook it on the barb of your hook right there and push it out a little bit. See how it looks? It comes off in front of the hook a little bit. Not sure if you can see that. See how it comes off in front of the spike? You want it just like that. So then after you get it hooked on your hook, the barb on your hook, just take your two lines here and give it another bend. I'm trying to keep them equal. I don't necessarily think you have to, but so I like it like that. You just put it up against your hook and then give it a bend. Just give it a crease, and that's how you know where to stop on your hook when you're ready for the next step. So now what I do is I just take some string, put it down the hook, and hold it, and then start wrapping around the string, basically to lock it in place. Just keep going. Keep going. Get all the way down your string or as far as you want. Wrap back up. And you can see that's pretty loose, but it's going to work. So now we just set our hook down. Get a little bit of string going. Take your weedless creation. Put it back through the hook, the eye of the hook. Oh, stage fright. And then hold it flush against the stem of the hook. So this is what you're going to be left with. You want to try and center it as best as possible with the point of your hook. After you do that, you just take your line. Oh, maybe I went a little too far. Yep, that's the problem. I'm just lining up the 50-pound test monofilament. So now that's pretty close to lined up. Doesn't have to be perfect, but the better you get it, the better it'll hook. So now you just wrap around your two pieces of mono, like so. You can do it really tight, as tight as you can get it. Work your way all the way down. The more you do this, the shorter you can make this, but for making a video and keeping it short and simple, this is how I'm doing it. So I like to wrap all the way down to where I started and then come back and kind of cover that monofilament a little bit, because you never know, you could be creating a snag point. So this gets rid of that and then go back down. Just keep wrapping it. I like to finish at the top. I don't think it matters where you finish, but for the purpose of this demonstration, I'm just going to tell you everything I'm doing. Hit it with a snip. So now what you want to do is just start tying your shoes, because the next step will hold it all together indefinitely. Just start like you're tying your shoes, cinch it down. Make sure you pull this first one tight, because it'll relieve any slack you have here. It just gives you a cleaner look. Right there at the top. There's 3 siblings in my family, me, my brother, and sister. So, I'm doing 3. You could probably get away with 1, probably get away with 2, but that's how I do it. Give it a snip, as close as you can to the start of the string there. And then what you want to do is check it. You see how it comes up in front a little bit and the hook is buried in there? I'm pretty confident that will do a much better job at keeping you weedless. One of my buddies Gary, well, the kid's friend's dad that we fish with sometimes, he gave me a hook. I forget the name of the hook. I'll grab one and put a clip in here somewhere. But anyway, that's what gave me the idea to do this. They use plastic instead of metal, like some weedless worms. But that's it. You just take your napkin now, and you want to apply the super glue like this. Because this one I did a really good job. You'll still be able to sneak your line on top of the your weedless creation. This one, on the other hand, I had glue come down, and it's a real pain in the butt to shove a needle through dried super glue and then pluck out a hole so then you have enough room to get your line through there. So just be wary of that. But this one, they sit nicely just like that. Flatten out your napkin. Put it on there so your eyelet is facing up, away from the super glue. And then you just want to dab super glue on the string so it never comes undone. The string will absorb the super glue quite nicely. Don't squeeze these too hard, because then you'll have a fountain of super glue that just continuously comes out until it's empty. Helpful tip. There we are. So if you can see, the backside looks wet as well, but you can easily apply a little bit more. Oh, that's why the napkin comes in handy. You get the drip like that, just touch the napkin. So that looks good if you ask me. So now set your hook down. Put that back. So now we have our finished product. It does not look like any super glue made it to the top. Thank goodness, because that again is a real pain in the butt to get off. Oh yeah, we're solid. I don't know if you guys can see how much room you have there. You got enough room for like 100-pound braid. If you just move it back a little bit like this, shove your line in there. You know, we could probably even, just for demonstration, here's another piece of 50-pound test. You fold this down a little bit. Let me do it with a dry one so I don't get glue all over my fingers. So it's a little difficult, but a trick to getting big line into small hooks is to cut it an angle, make it sharp, so what you're shoving through has a better chance of actually going through. So there we are. You can put 50-pound mono back through there, tie your hook, and go fishing. But once you're done, don't be discouraged if it's a little wonky. You can easily just manipulate it, give it some bends, give it a hard bend, and bend it straight up, and then when you hook it back down, it will go to its original spot, and it still looks pretty good. If you don't like the way one looks, give it a twist, and that's your finished product. The hook head is still buried in there, so I'm still fully confident this is gonna work. That's it. And the 50-pound test, I mean, any fish can bite through that. If this was a tiny hook and you're fishing for bluegill or, you know, panfish or whatever you fish for, perch, small things, it'll get the job done. So just for example, this one's too small because I got glue in it, but that's purple, that's black, and my first one I ever did is red. You can see I got better as time went. First one, second one I just did on camera. But I still am pretty dang confident this one's gonna work just fine. But let's just see if we can manipulate it a little bit on camera to just sit more evenly. That's pretty good. So yeah, that's it. My version of the weedless hook. Let me grab the one Gary gave me real quick. So this is the one Gary gave me. I forgot, it's like a name, oh, got glue on my fingers. It's a name of some guy like Yamamoto or something. He makes these fancy little hooks. These do not, oh, they do slide. So they use plastic here for the weedless part. It's extremely soft. It worked very well, don't get me wrong, but that's the size difference between the two. So they probably used 40 or even 30 pound mono style. It feels like mono, it doesn't feel like plastic. Although I caught a bass and the bass was able to break it. So that's what led me to this. But that's it. I'll likely make another video of it in action or post it with this video. Thanks for watching. Bonus round. So I have a hook, the one I just showed you guys that gave me the idea for this. Also, I saw people on YouTube use 50-pound test and a wire brush, and I was like, shoot, I can just combine those two together and make what Gary gave me. So anyway, here's the hook Gary gave me. I just cut off the weedless part. It's gone. Anyway, this is it. The eyelet for this hook is barely big enough for one 50-pound thread to go through. So what I did was I cut a piece of this. It was too long to begin with, but that's totally fine. You'll see here in a minute. You just fold it down. Should have left it longer for the video because it's hard to mess with it like this. So you just fold them down to the outside of the hook, like that. Then we're going to cinch it down with thread. You just adjust each side at a time. And that's essentially what Gary gave me, just homemade. I'm not sure if this is going to be a snag point, but we'll find out. Anyway, you can just pop this up, pinch it here, and you can see how much you got to work with. So what I found out is I want to go about to the beginning of the curve. So I'm going to pinch it again and just check my work. Measure twice, cut once, you know? Yeah. I think I'm happy with that. Alright, so same process as the other one, except this one we might have to do a little different here in the bonus round. So we're going to hold it nice and close, start with some wraps. You just basically want to get it around your line to keep it put so it doesn't move around on you. Ow! I guess that's going to be a problem with this smaller hook. Try not to hook your fingers, people. We can just snip that off at the end. I like to start at the top. I just found it easier. It might be easier for you to start at the bottom. Just play with it, you know? Figure out what works best for you. So here's my weedless creation. I'm going to give it its final pinch. Hopefully you guys can see this. You literally just make it nice and flat, pinch them together. I'm probably putting less than a pound of pressure, squeezing force on my surge here to get it to stay like that. And you can see it's round like the other one. Maybe this side isn't as round, but I'm sure we can just curl it like ribbon on a present. Worked like a dream. So this is going to be the hard part, I think, because the hook is so small. So what I want to do here is I want to get it pretty close to where I want to start. And we'll try keeping it on the outside. Nope, that's not going to work. We're putting it on the inside. Again, play around with this, you know, see what works best for you. I'm making different colors to see if that makes a difference. So try it before you buy it. That looks pretty good if you ask me. A little tighter than before, but maybe we can just shorten this. So I'm just pushing the mono down. Yeah, I think I like that right there. So now we're going to undo it from our hook and start spinning on it. So once you get your first couple spins, straighten her out. Get her where you want it. That looks pretty good. And just cinch it down with your string. And now we're not going through the eyelet of the hook, we're just going down the hook. So now we're really putting all of our trust in the old super glue and string. Let's just see here. I'm trying to get it around that base monofilament. I highly doubt that would be a snag point because you pull your hook this way, but you never know. It could land on the bottom funny. Anything can happen, right? So I'm just trying to clean up that base of monofilament, which I got really well, and then finish my wraps to the top. So, I'm going to do one more on this one, because again, we're really putting all of our trust in the string and super glue. And I guess this will be a little test here, because this is slightly thicker than those. Maybe not. and start tying your shoes just to get it to stay. And again, make sure you get this first one nice and tight to get your tension up. Hopefully you guys can see that. There was some looseness. I just cranked it and now it's nice and taut. But for me, my brother and sister, 2 and 3. Boom. Just like so. Just get it as tight as you can without cutting yourself. I'm gonna glue it first. Alright. So I'd still advise you to keep it this way so you don't put super glue in the eye of your hook. All I'm doing is just patting down a fray right there. Now we just soak the thread in super glue. Just like that. Now, I fixed my weedless hook. So, with a hook this small, I think it would be best to use a lighter monofilament. I'm gonna say, glued myself to the hook. This is 50 pound. I think for an application like this, I mean, you can see the size difference. This bends extremely easily, so I'm fully confident that's gonna work, but this is just a little tighter. A little too tight for my liking. This could still be a snag point, but I would suggest using maybe 30 pound. You could try 40 pound mono, but I think 30 pound mono would work best for something this small. Because that, again, is just a little too tight for me. I think a bass will have no problem getting through there. Where's a way I can show this off? I used that piece of thread. Let's see, maybe we could catch a bend in the needle. So the needle doesn't bend, there's no way to show you, but you could just trust me. This small bend here is much tighter than these large bends. I mean, this moves easy, like real easy. This is just a little too taut for me. But anyway, bonus round complete. Can't believe it worked, and I can't believe it worked that easy. We got painter turtles, soft shell turtles, big snappers in this lake. Oh, there's a boil. big snappers. Not alligator snappers, but big snappers. Here, I'm gonna drop it right in front of this. Ooh, something going to check out my stuff? Look at that, we're about to go right through that really thick pile of shrub right there. See, I'm going right through it. Look at that. This weeded hook works amazing, okay? That's incredible. There's a little bit of weeds hung up on top, but that little bit, a fish will still bite it, trust me. So let's try putting it right where those boils were. Right in the middle. Right here, right where I dropped it, I'm gonna say is 3 to 4 feet deep. Not deep at all. Right now the water level is very high. We've gotten a ton of rain these past couple of days. So let's see what happens. I'm gonna do one more cast on camera and then keep this thing strapped to my head. And if I catch a fish today, I will turn on the camera again and go from there. Hopefully catch myself reeling in a fish and bring it to shore. I did this the other day right in front of, there's a little dirt ledge right here. I usually stand right there on those rocks to fish, but the water is, I'm gonna say, at least a foot higher than usual. But no weeds. I'm gonna keep fishing and hopefully turn on the camera when I catch one.